So to be fair, when you're starting out with your marketing and you're doing it all by yourself, you're probably going to feel like you're moving at a snail's pace. But the more you do it, the more proficient you'll become. Your marketing doesn't have to be a masterpiece right out of the gate, and it's not going to be. Welcome to the Master Your Business podcast, where we bring you the best in branding, marketing, and customer experience strategies. I'm Deirdre Martin, your host. And if you've been asking yourself how to level up your growing business, your marketing, your customer experience, or how to make more of an impact with your brand, this show is for you. You'll discover actionable tips and insights to help businesses just like yours gain clarity and illuminate the path to success. Train with industry experts, learn sales and marketing strategies, business and mindset hacks, and be inspired by authentic entrepreneurship stories. As your host, I'll share the no-nonsense advice that accelerated my journey from boring bank manager to industry thought leader in marketing and customer experience. Learn how I made the leap into the world of six-figure success, digital courses, keynote speaking, and co-authoring a #1 bestseller in just 1 year. Together with interviews from industry experts, this show ensures you're seen, heard, and hired by your ideal clients. Join our growing community of subscribers and let the Master Your Business podcast empower you to tackle your most significant challenges on your path to business success. Don't miss out. It's your turn to learn from the best and master your dream business. Hey, and welcome back. It's Deirdre Martin here, your host for the Master Your Business podcast. If you're tuning in for the very first time, welcome, my friend. So grateful to have you here. Delighted that you've come across our show. And make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to rate and review the show after you've listened to this episode. We thrive on your feedback and it helps others to find this resource too. Today's topic is one that resonates with each of us, including me, and something that I wish somebody had maybe given me when I started my business. And it's about letting the excuse of time slow down the success of your professional service business. So we're going to dive right in. So a little story time, folks. When I first started my business, I thought I could wear all the hats. Well, the reality was it wasn't a case of thinking I could. It was more so a case of having to until the clients and the money started rolling in. And you know how it is. There are lots of hats in the business. But about 9 months into my business journey, an unexpected lesson came my way. And it was to do with brand and marketing. Marketing in particular, because my marketing was really lagging. And it was lagging because I was spread far too thin. And it's not that I couldn't do it. It was just that my time was my enemy, right? I didn't have enough time. And that's why today I have a whole dedicated podcast manager. She does everything for me. Literally all I do is come on here and talk and send her the video. I speak to incredible guests, I ask them questions, and then everything else is looked after for me. I will be so lost without her. I have a genius helping me with some aspects of my social media, and I have an incredible part-time graphic designer to give everything I create for clients that polished and professional look. And this all came about from me valuing my time and also ensuring quality. Because part of this lesson came about where I realized that certain things weren't within my wheelhouse. And because they weren't within my wheelhouse, they sucked some energy out of me. And if you do things that you don't enjoy, you'll know that that's exactly what happens. And a lot of people I speak to feel like marketing is like that. But something I learned during my time in the corporate world about eliminating work, also about automating work and about delegating work is that, and what I get actually is that sometimes you're just so busy that even trying to figure out what you can eliminate, what you can automate, or what you can delegate, that in itself takes time. Never mind the actual getting rid of it, right? Deciding what you want to get rid of is one thing, but actually getting rid of it That takes time too. Or finding the tech or the software that's going to work so efficiently that it automates it and doesn't add additional manual processes that are going to take you more time. That takes time too. And you've got to experiment sometimes. Or it could be finding the right person and then training them up to do whatever task your way so that it doesn't affect your business or your clients or your reputation or any of those things. All of these take time, right? So here's the thing, and you might want to write this down. When you are selling and you're marketing in your business, you will be more effective if you first create a brand strategy. This is not rocket science, but you will be more effective if you first create a brand strategy. And there's never a right time to review your brand strategy because it takes time. It can take days, weeks, even months sometimes. And there are never enough hours in the day to be selling and marketing. Why? Because it's continuous. But investing time in your brand, in your marketing, in your customer journey, in your sales, it's like nurturing a plant. And I'm using that as a metaphor, the plant being your business. It might seem kind of slow at first, but trust me, it will serve you very well. And if you have the mindset of, this is like it's a long-term strategy or it's a long-term experiment, believe me, you will reap the benefits. And some inspiration for you on this. If you don't believe me, and I'm going to share this with you, and it might offer a little bit of a light bulb moment, is this. Edison once said, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I've successfully found 10,000 ways that it will not work." I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself with the light bulb joke, but in terms of the 10,000 ways, each of those took time. But the 10,001, that extra one way that he found that works, think about how much time electricity now saves us, whether it's boiling the kettle or whatever it might be. So when you invest in yourself and your business to develop a brand strategy, you've created something that will keep you and your business heading in the right direction for quite some time. And I get that you're swamped. I know what it's like to be swamped. But once your brand strategy is in place, you can really start working through your marketing and your customer journey. And then you'd be surprised at how much time you can find and free up for yourself, or time that you can buy back. Recently, I sat down with a client, and one of the things they said to me before we sat down was, "Deirdre, I need to get back more hours in the day." They were trying to recruit staff, but just couldn't get staff, right? It's an employees market, not an employer's market. So we sat down, they're a professional service provider, and they're one of my one-to-one clients. And, they're busy just like you are. And we took 2 days. We spent 2 whole days mapping out their customer journey. And one of the things that came about was an incredible realization that they had. And that realization led them to recognize that there were so many little ways that they could speed things up. And not just for their clients, but for their internal processes too. And guess what? They shaved off a whopping 8 hours a week by realizing that they, as the business owner, had positioned themselves as a sort of a roadblock or bottleneck, whatever you want to call it, in their business. Just imagine what you could do with an extra 8 hours per week. That's a whole day. Some other ways you can give yourself back time, and this was part of what we worked through, was to delegate. And I know I kind of mentioned it already, but you invest in someone else to do the tasks that suck the life out of you, as I said before, that drain your energy. Like, I used to be a bank manager, right? And you think I'd be good with numbers and good with accounts, and like I am, but I absolutely hate it with a passion. And I think it's because I was so ready to leave that industry and sector that if I never saw a bank account again, I'd be totally okay with that. So long as I know the money's there to keep things rolling, then I'd be fine. But being able to buy back your time is invaluable. And that might not be something you can do if you're in the early stages of your business and maybe you're still wearing all the hats. And if that's you, there's light at the end of the tunnel, my friends, I promise you. But maybe you have someone who can help you do parts of your business, like the accounting, for example, or maybe even your marketing. Or maybe you have someone who manages that completely for you if you're already established and have that capacity. But either way, what I want you to remember is that marketing, it needs consistency. It's not something where you can spend time today and not do it again for 6 months. Why? Because when you want new clients, you can't just turn on the tap and they'll start flooding in. That's not how it works. You need to capture people by piquing their curiosity, engaging them by sharing valuable information and resources with them, and eventually building enough of a relationship by being trustworthy, coming across as authentic and relatable, and somebody they'd actually like to do business with, never mind somebody who can actually help them. When you do all of those things, which take time, they will convert into clients. So you can probably guess that marketing consistently requires what? Yeah, you guessed it. It does. It takes time. So to be fair, when you're starting out with your marketing and you're doing it all by yourself, you're probably going to feel like you're moving at a snail's pace. But here's the silver lining. The more you do it, the more proficient you'll become. Your marketing doesn't have to be a masterpiece right out of the gate, and it's not going to be. I've learned that. I mean, I look back at the stuff that I first posted when I started my business and I cringe at the sight of it. It's terrible. And I've learned that it's better to worry less about your content being picture perfect and even word perfect, but more so that you focus on its value. The value is where it's at. So don't give me the excuse that you don't have enough time. And if you can't afford to pay someone to do it for you, I don't want to hear, I don't know how, or it's too hard. That's codswallop. You can learn anything you want on the internet. A simple search on Google, YouTube, or heck, even ChatGPT or Bard or any of the AI platforms. That's all you need to do to find the answers as to how to do it. And yes, it is hard, especially at the start. But as I already said, the more you do it, the more proficient you're going to become. And here's a harsh truth, okay? Prepare yourself, pull up the big britches. If you can't afford to pay someone else to do it for you really well, it means that maybe you're busy doing the wrong things, okay? You should have enough time. If you don't have enough money coming in from your business, well, that means you have free time. And so you should be able to figure out how to do it well. And if you can't afford to pay someone to even teach you how to do that, go on to Google, go on to YouTube, go on to ChatGPT or Bard or all of those other things. Or check out all my past posts and podcasts. There's tons of free resources there to help you. And the alternative is if you don't have time to learn and time to implement, well, then that's when you invest in help. Some of my clients in my group program, for example, they were constantly posting content, but it was always other people's content and never anything of their own. And early on, I too fell into the trap of posting things like motivational quotes and the like. They don't really add value to people, they just add to the noise on social media. But when my clients got the information and when they were armed with tools and templates as to how to apply these things in their marketing, well, it sped up their success. And one of my one-to-one clients said they couldn't believe how much they learned about marketing in the 6 months. And aside from great results, what surprised them the most was that they actually now really enjoy marketing, right? They enjoyed it. They couldn't believe it because they were thinking, oh, no, not for me. They love it. And because they've grown so much and seen so much success from their marketing, yes, Instagram is their platform. They are like, oh, amazing, amazing clients because they put in the hard work. Now they're going to have to get a third party to do their marketing because they are so busy. They're so busy now that they can't do it themselves anymore. They don't have the time. And they've grown their team and they still don't have the time. They're buying back time now because their business has been successful, which makes them kind of sad. Yeah, we talked about it. It makes them kind of sad. But also because they now have a better understanding of what's involved in marketing, the time it takes, and all the steps and things. They're going to be better prepared to manage someone who is doing the work for them. Makes sense, right? Okay, because time is of the essence for you, I wanted to share 3 ways to speed up your organic marketing efforts. And by organic, I mean without paying for ads. And before even getting into number one, I'm kind of going to preempt this with this is once you have your brand strategy completed, because your brand strategy determines what you're going to say. It sets out what your narrative is in your business. So it's a lot easier to create content once you know that. And also, it sets out what your style is going to be. And by style, what I'm talking about is the type of colors and fonts you're going to use, the tone and personality of all of the content you're going to create. Okay, so I'm preempting these 3 with you already have your brand strategy. Okay, so number 1 is repurposing your content. So why would you do this? Why would you share something you've already shared before? It's simple. If you've already created great content that you put a lot of time and effort into and it worked well for your audience, well, then you'd be an idiot not to use it to its fullest potential, right? So you might be thinking, how do you do this? Well, let's say you wrote a blog or a LinkedIn article, for example. You take that long piece of content and then you transform it into the likes of, let's say, an infographic. Or you take that long piece of content and you record it as a video. And then you post a long video, or you could break it up into little short clips of that long video. You could take out what are the main points and create a carousel post, those sliding ones. There's so many different things that you could do with one longer piece of content to break it down into different formats. And another major benefit of doing this is that each format is going to appeal to a different segment of your audience. And then it's also going to serve different platforms in a way that the platforms are looking for you to serve it. Like right now, as I record this, let's say for Instagram, what's working really well in Instagram is Reels and carousel posts, not so much the single graphics, but like a photograph and a post with a long form caption is working well on Instagram right now. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret hack I've done in this regard with repurposing the content. And so this is something that I did that worked really well on LinkedIn and would work just as well on any of the other platforms. Was what I did was, and you can do this so easily right now, take out your phone, go to your primary platform and look at your content insights for the last 12 months and find the content that got you maybe the most reach or impressions, or look at the content that got you the most engagement. Basically check what performed the best in the last 12 months. Instagram will probably only let you go back for 3 months, 90 days, I think it is. And same with Facebook. But with LinkedIn, you can do a full year. So what I did was I looked back on LinkedIn for the full year. And then what you can do is take that one piece of content that performed really well and rewrite it. Simple as that. You rewrite it so the narrative or the underlying message is basically the same as it was first time, but you've just created a new version of the exact same post. Right? And what I do to spice it up is I'd add a new image or a graphic. And this works really well because the people who were following you whenever you posted it before may not have seen it or may not have been following you, or you have new followers now. So the people following you today may not have seen that one that you posted before. And for inspiration, if you're like, oh my God, how do I write this again? How can I rewrite the same piece of content in a different way so that it works as effectively? Plug it into ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT to recreate this post. That's literally the only thing you need to type into the prompt. Recreate this post. That's it. And then edit it. So it's like, it looks like you, it sounds like you, and then share it. One of my posts I did this with on LinkedIn. Originally, when I look back, it was impressions. I was looking to increase impressions. I had like 17,000 hits plus on the first version. And so when I rewrote it and reposted it, I had like over 25,000 on the second. How cool is that? And it literally took me minutes. Now, I wouldn't be using the same piece every day or every week. That would be incredibly boring and not really incredibly valuable for your audience. But you could certainly do something like that every quarter. Again, time-saving hack. Right. Number 2 is collaborations and partnerships. So why would you bother with this? Well, 2 or more voices are louder than 1, right? Plus, if the people following the other person trust them, then they're likely going to trust you too because you're showing up on this other person's social media profile. So how does this work exactly? Well, you might be thinking, I don't know anyone I can collaborate with. Okay, fair point. So think of your network, online or offline. Who serves your audience, but in a completely different way to you? So they have a kind of a complementary business to yours. Or think of an influencer, or from an influencer's perspective, who might be a good fit for your industry. You could then invite them to do webinars, guest posts, or joint social media campaigns. And another bonus tip here is go live on social media with the other person. There's software I've used. It works on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is my primary platform. I know that it streams or it'll upload your video to other places as well, like YouTube. Oh, you can stream live to YouTube with it as well. It's called Restream. That allows you on LinkedIn anyway, for sure, to stream your live stream to the other person's audience at exactly the same time. How handy is that? You get in front of both audiences simultaneously. And this is so super easy to do and puts you in front of a whole pile of new faces. So this is something now you're going to see me. If you're following me on LinkedIn, I am asking my podcast guests if they're open to coming on Restream and streaming live. And sometimes people are open to it. I've done a couple of impromptu ones already just to see if it works. It's amazing. We haven't managed to figure out how to stream to their ones yet, but that was because we literally just did an impromptu when we went on to record. But it looks super easy. So watch this space. But last but not least is number 3. Be social on social platforms. Why? Well, when you engage with other people, it helps to get more eyeballs on your content. And when I tell you how to do this, you're going to think, but Deirdre, that's going to take more time. Well, let me just caveat here, folks, and say you should be on social media for business. Like any task in your business, you should set a limit for how long you're going to spend performing the task. And for social media, largely you're there to create content rather than to consume it. But what I'm referring to right now in terms of being social on social is engaging with your followers and your ideal clients instead of just posting and ghosting. So join discussions, participate in relevant groups or forums or whatever is relevant to the platform you hang out on. Host the live sessions if you can. Platforms like Instagram and Facebook, they tend to prioritize content with higher engagement in their algorithms. And so because they do that, that'll increase your visibility as well on the platform. And here's a bonus tip for every platform. Every time you post content and people comment on it, reply to the comments there and then. But don't like the comment, okay? And then when you post the content the next day or later on, Go back in and like the comments from the previous post. That's a way to get people actively engaging on your content. And the idea is that if you are going to spend time on marketing, you're going to be spending it wisely. So, as we wrap up, folks, here's my challenge to you. I want you to take action. I want you to take a moment this week to think about where you can invest time for the long-term benefit of your professional services business. You might surprise yourself. Okay, before I sign off, let me just give you a gentle nudge to please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. If you found any value whatsoever in today's discussion, every rating really helps, and your feedback is the compass that guides our journey here on the Master Your Business podcast. So, until next time, this is Deirdre Martin reminding you to make every second count. And here's cheers, mastering your business.